Welcome and thank you to everybody who's joining us for this year's first 4 Minute Friday, actually, of recruitment season. In these segments, we take just a few minutes to meet with some of the people that make Christ such a special place to train. And today we are speaking with our four fantastic chiefs. And we're going to talk about a little bit about you guys individually and then just sort of goals for the year as we move forward. So I'm going to have each of you guys introduce yourselves, maybe give us just a little bit of background and tell us kind of what you loved about Christ or how you ended up here. I'll go in my order. Kyle, let's start with you.
All right, great. Hi, I'm Kyle Leonard. I am one of the chiefs. I'm actually one of the conference chiefs with Tim. I am from Minnesota originally, southwest suburbs, and then I did my undergrad at the University of Minnesota, med school down in New Orleans at Tulane, and then ended up back in the Midwest for residency. Biggest thing I think that drew me to Christ, having not known a lot of the program before I interviewed, was definitely the people I met on interview day. I just felt really at home. I knew it was going to be a supportive place to train with really like awesome clinical experience. So.
And then Amy, I'll have you go next.
Yeah, I'm Amy Voss. I'm one of the scheduling chiefs along with Monica. I'm initially from the Chicagoland area, from the west suburbs. Went to undergrad in Grand Rapids at Calvin College and then med school over in Detroit at Wayne State. And then ended up coming back home for residency. I think the thing that drew me to Christ was rotating as a medical student on my very first day when our department chair walked in and introduced himself by his first name. And I think from that point on, I really got a sense of this place is really a familial culture. People that really care about you, people that really want you to succeed, a safe place to be learning, growing, making mistakes, moving forward. And I thought I was just really attracted to the people that I'd be working alongside of.
Awesome. Thank you, Amy. Fernie, let's have you go next.
My name's Tim Fernandez. I'm also one of the conference chiefs. I am from the west suburbs as well originally. I went to Bradley University for undergrad and University of Illinois for medical school. What drew me to Christ? I also rotated here as a medical student, and I had just an amazing experience on my rotation. Again, like the first name basis that is pretty much conserved throughout the entire department is really impressive, as well as just the clinical experience itself. And on my interviews for residency, I went across the country looking for a program that I liked more. I thought that would give me more in my residency experience, and I couldn't find one. So that's why I'm here.
Awesome. And then Monica, you can finish us up.
Hey, I'm Monica Logan. I'm one of the scheduling chiefs. I was actually born in Australia and I was raised in Alaska, where I went to undergrad at the University of Alaska. I went through the Alaska WWAMI program, which is offset from the University of Washington for medical school. And then I came out here to do my away rotations. My husband's a resident in the area, and so I was targeting the Midwest. And I heard word of mouth that Christ was amazing, and I had a really great rotation. And kind of the big reasons I love this program was the early autonomy, the high acuity, and just the volume here. But I also loved how family friendly it is. As you can see, Cerrone's there with his new little baby. And because I myself have a kid and I just had one recently. And I just loved how many females are in the program. I loved how many young parents were in the program as far as attendings and residents went. And that was something that really spoke to me.
Awesome. I probably should introduce myself as well. I'm Michael Cerrone, wearing a couple of hats. Aside from my true passion, which is hosting recruitment material here, I'm also one of the attendings and assistant program directors. And as of 2 months ago, a mom, a dad, as Monica alluded to. And so I'm not going to count all of that into our 4 minutes because we'll go way over. Instead, we'll just let you guys speak a little bit about kind of your goals for the year. And so I'm going to let the conference chiefs go first. So that's Fernie and Kyle. Why don't you tell us a little bit about kind of your goals for this year and what you guys want to focus on?
Sure, that sounds good. I can kind of start us off here, just kind of keeping an idea of all the things we kind of do throughout the year. So conference at Christ is really fun. I think because it's so resident run, Tim and I really get to make up sort of the majority of the curriculum and the scheduling for everything we're going to be doing throughout the year. And we kind of get the final say on what we think is going to be good and educational for our residents. And that also goes into making sure that it's not just all, sitting in lectures at 8 a.m. and kind of slogging throughout the day, but certainly getting us outside of sort of the traditional lecture hall to do a lot of hands-on learning stuff. So apart from, traditional faculty and resident lectures, which we do definitely do, other really cool things that we get to be a part of are things like we have a very robust ultrasound program, and we do ultrasound labs throughout the year, learning kind of head to toe all the different things that we can work on our ultrasound skills for. We also do a number of procedure labs, particularly for, more rare high acuity procedures, and kind of going into a big airway day as well. So getting our hands on, as high fidelity, like cricothyrotomy models that we can get on, and difficult intubations as far as like fiber optic and other exciting things there. And then I'll kind of let Tim kind of round up some of the other things we do.
Totally. So in addition to all of the hands-on stuff we do in our simulation labs and all the other awesome stuff that we get to do in conference, we also have a lot of kind of non-traditional didactic experiences. We draw from our great relationships with our consultants, such as our cardiologists, our intensivists, who come down and give us lectures, and we collaborate in these multidisciplinary conferences where we review some of our most interesting cases. So we do a quarterly STEMI conference with our interventional cardiologists where we discuss cases, and we are working on bringing a similar style presentation with our neurointensivist, where we can go over some of our neurologic emergencies as well. So looking forward to having some of those more great experiences and discussions with our consultant doctors coming in the future.
Awesome. Neither of you guys mentioned, probably most importantly, you're also in charge of collecting the food for lunch after conference. And I think it's been just top shelf all around this year. I have always left with a full belly, so thank you.
It's really a passion project of mine. Mostly I became chief to order lunches. Yes.
Perfect. Sometimes dreams do come true. And so we'll pivot now and just speak with our scheduling chiefs a little bit, Amy and Monica, if you guys want to talk about kind of your goals for the year ahead as well.
Yeah, so I'll give just some background. Oh my gosh, sorry. I am in an office. Okay. So I will, so just from background about our scheduling, I won't go into off service. We're not really responsible for that, but we do help coordinate a schedule for the whole year for our residents. But as far as ER scheduling goes, just we really value getting our residents the days off they need. We have a pretty, I'd say, personalized scheduling approach. Take into account like important family events, personal needs, may they be health or wellness related. Amy and I spend a significant amount of time making sure that we have a nice progression of shifts so that people aren't, flipping from nights to days, and we have a good like kind of a forward approach for that. And then we also just make sure that we have a lot of good distribution of shifts so that no residents doing too many overnights or peds shifts or float shifts or whatever that may be. So we all are getting like that optimal educational experience, which is something that we're really focusing on this year.
Absolutely. I think Monica hit the nail on the head. Those are kind of have been our two goals throughout the day or throughout this year, getting a good equal distribution of shifts, whether they be mornings, even afternoons, nights, because we know that nights can be sometimes a little bit of a different beast than the ER, which creates a whole unique exposure for all of our residents. And then our second goal, as Monica said, is just really respecting people's lives outside of the hospital, allowing them to be at their family functions, allowing them to be at their marathon that they're running, allowing them to get some sleep the night before their marathon. Kind of just making sure that people are succeeding and enjoying their life outside of work, because we know that residency can be tough. The actual process of how that happens is, every month we send out requests. People submit their requests to us. We review those. It goes through an online platform that Monica and I review each and every resident's schedule multiple times, making sure that it makes sense, making sure that it'll fit with people's sleep pattern, making sure, as she said, it's an equal distribution of shifts. So each and every schedule is hand reviewed multiple times, just to make sure that it's a good schedule and something that's feasible for residents, and again allows them to enjoy their life outside of work.
Speaking of life outside of work, this weekend was like one of my favorite Chicago events, which was Aaron Waters show. Who got to see planes buzzing this weekend? Anybody?
Me, got to watch it from our apartment, which is really exciting to like downtown and like get a good view of the lake and like see the planes zooming by. It was really fun. And
then speaking of brutal scheduling, I think it's worth noting to our audience as we say thank you guys for joining us here. How many of you worked overnights last night? Let's see a show of hands. There you go. Good morning to you guys. And I think Monica and Kyle both just got off of shift as well. So thank you, Monica and Kyle. You guys are the best. Thanks for being here, and thanks for everything you're doing this year. You're doing an awesome job, and looking forward to a lot of time together. Thanks again.